So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, down in the Full Speed Event Studios, down in the old beer cellars, and we're not underwater. Good news, always bonus, not under anything in fact, which is probably even better news. My name's Matt Payne, as you can see up over on the screen over there. Commentator, broadcaster, event organiser, slow rider, occasional coffee drinking, frequent coffee drinking, occasional non-coffee drinking, person charged with bringing all the words to the action. We've done this a few times. Ought to have it down off pat by now, but do you know what? Today's going to be slightly different, and one of the reasons it's different is because we changed our beacon. We don't have Russ with us today. He's down at Great Ormond Street Hospital on a charity event down there. So I'm sure Russ has enjoyed himself. Watch out for the social media from there. And it means that we've brought in the one and only Wolf. So we're going to have Jimmy Allen leading the ride out. Now, if you have been watching, you'll know that on Tuesday we had an interrupted show just simply because we were quite literally underwater down here in the studio. So that has now been fixed. We're now back up and running as normal. And you'll have seen yesterday that we had the WOW DCG, the Women Only Wednesdays at Donny Chaingang. And that was an absolute blast with some fantastic riding in there. Now, all this is possible because those people who donate to the gang basically mean that I and Russ can spend all our time doing this. Don't get me wrong, we're never going to be rich doing this. In fact, we're probably never even going to make poor getting the donations, but every little bit helps because it all helps pay for all the stuff behind the scenes as well as the time. So although we don't put anything in terms of what we use professionally, in other walks and other commentating, it does cover things like the hosting of things, the streaming and so on that we only use for the Donny Chaingang. And some of the kit that we replace on the way through, because the Donny Chaingang is quite intensive on a number of things that other commentary geeks aren't. Russ, of course, needing to keep the wheels turning as well. And all of that made possible by the people who donate. Now, those people that donate and are members of the DCG gang, so donate for a month or for all of the season to the end of the season, well, they are supported by the people you can see up there. 1080, Oakley's best in the business, and the best prices, best advice, and extra discount, 20% off OTE, 20% on Gritty, 20% on Fella Skin, 20% off Halo, because it is Halo month and it is going to be Halloween coming up, and everybody who's been on before in October will remember the Halloween Rise of Old. Don't forget, of course, Continental and Nonners as well joining us in that support of the members, so please do consider donating. If you've got a little bit spare, it doesn't have to be every month. It does get you some advantages. The link's emailed direct to your inbox. Normally you get all of the discount codes, etc. at the start of every week. This week was a bit of an exception, and apologies if anybody found that a little inconvenient, but this is a route we know well. London Loop with the Box Hill finish. So let's show you where we are headed. As you can see, we're going to use our map, which comes from Zwiftax, and it is a familiar London loop. So essentially we are going to start off at Lee Valley Velodrome, which is not in Lee Valley in Zwift. That's actually where Russ is at the moment. And then we're going to come out on to the lap. We're going to go along the side of the river, cut down along Whitehall, go past Clown Central, take a left-hand turn down through the underpass, up onto Box Hill, coming across the top of Box Hill, then dropping back down. 2.5 laps of 14.9 Ks, 39.5 when we come to the finish at the top of Box Hill. And of course, we then have a 2.5 K roll down so people can warm down. The man in charge of looking after everybody is Jimmy Allen, aka the Wolf. Jimmy, of course, our Yellow Beacon fast man, a very quick climber, and of course, a man who has been known to keep a check on everybody, simultaneously letting the go happen at a very random point. In fact, nobody can predict the Wolf. He is one of the most entertaining beacons of the lot. We've got quite a plethora of them. And looking forward to that. And seeing we've got quite a lot of new or existing riders coming back into the game. Just noticed we've got Gail Phillips back on, the person in charge of our Red Beacons. And this week's Red Beacon in Thursday's ride is Ian Bale. Ian, a man who loves a mud facial, at the moment looking remarkably clean. Whether or not he's got any in the garage or his pain cave, we'll let him put that message out on board. And of course, the red beacon is there to sweep up behind. Simple rules. Stay with the yellow until Jimmy gives you the go, go, go. Reminder, 39.5 will take you to the top of Box Hill. What does that look like in terms of profile? Well, let's use our Velo Viewer graphic. A massive thank you to Ben and everybody there. This is the course in full, in 2D, because it makes it a lot simpler. So essentially, out from London, going onto the climb, we go over Box Hill. We drop off the other side, we come back round, we go over it again, and then on the second lap, once we've gone round, we head out onto our final lap, finishing at the top of the climb. It is 39k plus, of course, the 500-meter warm-up. So, third lap at the top of the hill. As you can see, 3 times up Box Hill. This is going to be a tough one. Our riders are lined up on the grid. As you can see, that clock is ticking down, and that means it's not going to be long before our riders know that they're going to be away. You can see Jimmy Allen. He is our rider that is there in that Mondrian kit at the moment. And Jimmy, if we just zoom out a little bit here on Jimmy's avatar, you can see just front and centre on the grid there. And Jimmy in that Mondrian kit with a big yellow beacon up above him. And you can see that we've got our red beacon just tucked a little bit further back. That is Ian Bale. I think it's going to be in a black kit with green and red stripes on. So time to watch out for our riders. We're going into the countdown. Here we go. Time to get our riders out and away, and off they go. So we are going to jump in with our riders as they come out and away from the line. We're in with one of our youngest riders. It is Zach Hutchinson. Zach in here. And immediately into the right place, right alongside our yellow beacon, which is what we want to see. Remember, this is about getting everybody out. So, we've got a lot of new riders, in fact, on the gang, a number of returning riders. One man who is with us is Stefano Borelli. Borelli is in here. Stefano is here. Stefano, the main man. He's in the Nonna's manager, the man who has kept more cyclists fed than the Ineos Grenadiers cook in the gang, nicely tucked in there. Now, quick reminder, if you are jumping in late, remember you need to be up and pedalling to get into the pack. A number of riders just distanced off the back of the group, and they're going to need to just pick their way up. We are sub 100 riders tonight, which does mean it is a big bonus because it means that we are going to get in to the group. You see riders just starting to come back in and rejoin. Wardell Phil in the mix. Gardner in there. So good to see Gardner's got in. Good to see Robbie in here. Well done, buddy. We've got plenty of riders making the way in, but this is about getting that group together as we go underneath our lap banner here. So this is the start and finish of each lap. We have 2.5 laps from that point going in and through. And as you can see, Ian Bear just waiting here. A quick heads up, if you are more than 30 seconds behind, please, guys, make sure you jump out, jump back in again. It's the most effective way of getting up to the group. We're just in with Ian Bale, our red beacon. This is the man who's going to be bringing us along. And now that we are in and away, let's drop in the ambient sound, as it's known in the trade, the atmosphere. So here we go. Just going to work away. Stay off the front. Don't chase the front. Don't go after the front. Stay around the yellow beacon. Don't move off it until Jimmy Allen says. The reason he's called the Wolf is because he is indeed the Wolf. Now, Rich Langmead just in pursuit at the moment. Let's drop down alongside that Tron bike. Heading in and through. And I'm sure Jimmy actually puts his message up for me as much as anybody else. Don't panic! Don't panic! It's not worth it. Now, just taking a little bit of a look. Ian Bale just rolling back there. Looks like Kieran Brown just giving him a little bit of a hand. I think we've got Jeff Saysell at the back. So the group just having to get itself in and together. And a quick reminder, guys, make sure that you jump in. Mr. Langmead, I hope you are feeling strong. Here we go. So remember, Chaingang, whether it's the WOW DCG or the DCG runs in the same format. It's really simple. Stay with yellow. Follow the yellow beacon's instructions. They will keep the group together. Only when the trigger is given by the boss, the wolf, the bear, whoever we have as our beacon, Sammy, I don't even know what's called Sammy's shirt other than the beast, to be honest, because absolute animal last night, taking an astounding win as our yellow beacon. A great ride by Sammy and great leading. Thank you very much, Sammy. And thank you to Joe Jarvis, who were our leaders yesterday. Of course, to Russ and to our red beacon on Tuesday as well. Basically, our beacons keep the show together, keep the gang together. Now, as you can see, a few riders just dropping back to give our red beacon a little bit of a hand. So here we go. So we have at the moment quite a gap opening up between our riders. So if we get up here, take a little bit of a look back. This is our red beacon group at the moment. This is the last group on the road. So our red beacon at the moment, we're not even coming out the end of the embankment. We're going to see how close to the trees we can fly. So let's see if we can chip off some of that plane tree bark as we head in and across. So come on, Mr. Say So. Are we going to get this red beacon back on again? We need to get a few riders back as breadcrumbs for our riders. So the tail needs to come off the back of that bunch. A few riders to give some assistance. Come on, Jeff. Start to wind it up, mate. Let's get the gang rolling. Looks like Rich Langmead in here. It's really obvious stuff, guys. If you're on the front and you are pushing the pace on the front, you will be waiting a long time. We do not always give the go, go, go point. It is not always given. And if people are complete Muppets, not only will I end up going to find the Muppet theme tune again, but we will publicly damage them if we have to. And there is a method of not letting riders onto the ride if they are repeat offenders. Everybody can see yellow. Everybody can see red. If you can't see yellow and red, you ain't playing the game because you ain't in. Your internet has dropped. There are no excuses. It doesn't matter whether you are young, old, infirm, or just plain dumb. So Jimmy Allen just informing everybody that we have a slight rise coming up. A little bit of a ramp is going to be heading up. Just keeping a little bit of a check here. Looks like Mason just went a little bit too far back there. And just going to keep a little bit of a look. Looks like, oh, we've got some, look at this. We got Speedy Man in the house. It's Cameron Fraser making his way on here. Oh, very interesting. And on lightweight wheels. And on a lightweight bike. Don't say you weren't warned if you're one of our front lightweights. Remember the aim here to keep the gang together. This one man who you need to watch out for. Will it be his day today? A frequent flyer heading on his way through. Remember, make sure you message red if you need a hand to get back on again. If you do come off the back and you don't need a hand, equally, please message the guys, let them know, because otherwise they'll come chasing back for you. Now, good to see we've got Morgan on board. So this is Morgan Lloyd on the bike here on the kit, in the GCN kit. It looks like Kieran Brown just taking a little bit of a break to get back, clip back in again. A man who needs no assistance to get on the bike, to be brutally honest. He's absolutely flying machine in there. Simon Boo just rolling around the back. Good to see that we've got Neil from Gritty in here. And I'm probably not giving any surprises away. If you are riding a UCI event on cyclocross and you want to know whether your tyres are the required width, this is the man to see. Never mind chatting up the commentaries. Talk nicely to Neil at Gritty. Cross his palm with silver or gold. And it's an amazing product. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to give away all of the secrets of it. I don't dare. I'll let Neil explain And don't forget, of course, to make sure you download the latest Crosscast. Now, I wasn't able to do that on Monday, partly because we were underwater and we were really up to our ears in it. So not able to do the Crosscast. Fortunately, we actually had 2 guests in already planned in, and that is Alison Kinlock. Alison's going to be our yellow beacon on the Donny Chaingang on the WoW DCG for the last week in October. But we've also going to have Alison on the show. So she was actually on the Crosscast along with Alex Forrester. So it's 99% calibrated at 33 mil. Here's the kit. And I have seen this in production, not with my real eyes. So unfortunately, I don't get the pictures coming through from the brilliant, absolutely brilliant design. It's fairly simple design, but you know what? It's a bit of kit that is becoming standard now for most riders. If you don't have one, get one. It is 32.7 millimeters. So please, guys, make sure you jump on. If you don't know, follow Crosscast Neil or @Gritty on social media. You will be able to see it. It's great kit. Gritty, of course, supporters of the Donny Chaingang. We all want more tools, don't we? Yes, everywhere except for off the front of the Chaingang, obviously, Neil, which occasionally does happen. We get the odd spanner deciding that they're going to go flying off the front. More Manchester spanner than precision gauge when they go off the front like that, but there you go. Unlike the Gritty tire with checker. So, please, guys, make sure you jump on there. Gritty, of course, supporting the Chaingang and being in with us from the start. Sustainable apparel and kit. And let's face it, everybody wants to be able to walk around with something. And what I like about the gear the best, the tyre checker, is it's a different colour from our Commissaires one, which is even better. All the Commissaires are going to want the uber cool one. Right, anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the ride. Got a few new riders in here. Got one of our Callus riders in here, Tabs in the group. Let's have a little look who else is in here. So off to Box Hill we go. Mike Killingsworth on board. Mike being a beacon for us already this year in that kit. Just on the front, looks like Wayne Barr in there as well. We're going to go right past the house of a certain Mr. Mason very shortly, the fat cyclist. I think he can smell his tea being on here because Gareth already up near the front here. So Mason working around down well. We do get to see Gareth's estate. Basically, if you stand at the top of Box Hill, if you can see it, it is part of his domain. That's how it works. Some facts on the show might not be true. That might be one. So here we go, dropping down, running around. You can see we've got Carl Johnson in here as well. Apparently we've got a picnic in the grounds from Mr. Mason. It'll be very interesting. So, God, isn't it quiet in the underpass? It's nice. Peaceful, tranquil, just the sound of wheels. How it should be. Right. Let's have a little run through. Good to see we've got Ruben in. Ruben in now. We had Amanda on yesterday. So just coming in and through, get that drone up and flying. Now, if I take it right in and down, then everyone's going to get really dizzy. But Ruben tucks right into the bunch. Remember, the aim here is to stick around yellow. Already seeing a few blobs off the back here on the map. We're going to take a little bit of a run back as we come through. Now, do remember that it is very obvious if anybody plays Silly Watsits up the climb, because their name will appear on the box of shame, on the red box on the left-hand side. If you ride up there a minute quicker than anyone else, it will be obvious to everybody else that you are a complete muppet. Please don't. I love Chris Canham. I might manage 0.2 watts on the third run. You and me both, mate. You and me both. Now, let's take a little bit of a roll back. I'm just trying to jump in with the legendary Gail Phillips. Gail, our spreadsheet supremo, the head honcho of all things Red Beacon, who marshals the troops and our volunteers in here. And great to see that we've got Gail back on the gang, just weaving her way in and out. Gail's hair does look like that in real life. If she's had a haircut, it was longer than that last time I saw Gail. So here we go. Let's take a little bit of a run. Oh, it does indeed look like a Grupo Compacto. We're just going to take a little run to the back. I think Richie Woodall just having a little roll round at the back of the group here. So here we go, on his way up. So at the moment, Ian Bale just tucked in at the back. Interesting to see Morgan Lloyd and a few of our riders just going through. Must be warm down south. I know everyone says it's warm down south, but the tarmac is melting so much, our riders are actually cutting through it. Never mind stuck in the big ring, guys. You're stuck in the tarmac at the moment. That is how much it's melting. Oh, a few people popped out. Maybe it's a little bit cooler as you hit this section. So Richie Wardle in the pack at the moment. And as we take our drone out, you can see that gradient currently at 7%, just starting to bite. And remember, the key here is to keep that group together. So remember, please, guys, keep the group together. No heroes on the front. The numbers are on your screen. If you think you're being a hero now, you will find that you're not. You will get closed down later on. Stay with that yellow beacon. Stay on target. Stay with yellow. Use the force. Just on my bike Ninja coffee cup at the moment. It's very good. Don't forget, of course, legal speed coffee these days, pretty much. Now, for anybody who is wondering what else we're going to be getting up to, we're just going to take this opportunity as we have a nice little perambulation on the way through coming up. Gotta say, got a few things in the irons in the fire, one of which is an ultra short notice world feed for the UCI Gravel Championship. So if you are wanting to watch the UCI Gravel Championships, the World Championships, the first official one, there's been 12, I think, unofficial ones, all in Nebraska, a bit like the Baseball World Series up to this point. Quick heads up, the Gravel Championships, the World Gravel Championships will be coming out. Now, if your VPN says that you are in Europe, you will find that the only place you can watch it is going to be on Discovery Plus, GCN, etc. And that's going to be Ollie Beckinsale on the mic there. Good to see that Ollie's taking the reins for that one. Now, if your VPN says that you are actually residing somewhere else, for example, the rest of the world basically, then you're going to hear my dulcet tones for the whole of the Gravel Championships. So, World Gravel Championships, if you are non-European VPN or a non-existent VPN that's not basically based in Europe, if you have that ability to be somewhere else on your VPN, then guess what? You can hear me bringing all of the women's and the men's coming to life, coming on your screens. Looks really exciting, and know a lot of the plans for the coverage are very different. We've got lots of really interesting lack of rules and regulations. So if you are thinking, oh, got to go to a UCI race, going to be loads of rules and regs, no. It doesn't happen. You can use any bike, use a mountain bike, a road bike, etc. The feed will be on YouTube, but your VPN, Neil, so Neil, I'm just asking, is the feed on YouTube, Matt? It is. It will be on the UCI YouTube channel, but your VPN has to show that you are not in the UK. If you are UK or Europe based, you will find that you cannot watch Muggins. The Gravel Championships, any bike. No restriction on handlebars, as long as it's one piece with no clip-on tri-bars or similar, or bar ends. They have to be a one-piece bar, but no restrictions. You can have flared bars, you can have wide tyres, skinny tyres, narrow tyres. Unless you've been reading the UCI regs on this, it's going to be really, really interesting to see who's in. And we've got a fantastic field lined up for it. It's almost as mixed bag as the Donny Chaingang. So you've got riders from the mountain bike world, like Pauline Ferrand-Prévot riding. You've got riders who are coming from cross, like Zedek Stibar. You've got sprint kings like Sagan in there, a real attacking rider, somebody who took the win on Richmond World Championships, a route we use on Swift. We've also, of course, got a certain Mr. Van der Poel who will not be answering his hotel door in the middle of the night, come hell or high water. So going to be a really interesting ride. We have got some UK. The women, they are not. The women's coverage is on Saturday, and that will start at 2 o'clock European time, which is going to be 1 o'clock UK. And they're going to have about 2 to 2.5 hours of coverage. So women on Saturday, and then men on Sunday. And remember, Ollie Beckinsale on the UK and Europe field with GCN and Discovery Plus. And if it's not covered by them, then it will be yours truly on the global feed coming out from the UCI. Just before that, I'll also be on an esports cycling one. And of course, we also got Emma. He's going to be covering the other esports on the Sunday as well. Then we're going to be back into the Donny Chaingang again and more cross stuff coming up. So going to be a really busy period rolling in. Back to tonight's ride. We're on the ascent. We're coming up to the hairpin turn. If we take our map better zoomed out, as you can see, this is the tightest turn. Taking the right-hand side. A quick reminder, if you are up on the front, you will need to be back with that yellow beacon before you go over the top of the climb. If you don't, then what you'll find is that you'll hurtle down the other side and you'll be very much obviously clear of the group. Very tricky to hold together. Once it hits the descent, it will slow everything off. So it's all about keeping calm, keeping cool, and staying together as we come up and through our red beacon. Doing a great job at the back here, just making sure everybody is okay. Looks like Bevan Jones is just about to come and join us. Just seen his name flick up on the bottom of the screen. Jamie Harper in here from the True North Adventure in the group, just rolling a little at the back. Just see we've got Stefano just holding the back of that group. Tom Lindley in here. Tom, I hope your ears were burning. I was out for a ride with the one and only Donny, the mentor of this young man, and the Terminator T2, Tracy Seeley, and you can see some of the pictures on the Facebook page of the Donny Chaingang, and make sure you have a little jump on there, give us a like, make sure you give it subscribe. Don't forget, of course, that you can watch the series on there. Now, we're just going to take a little bit of a run up. We've got Matt Nunn in here. Go see Tickers in the gang once again. Mr. Mason, it is not a pole mile finish. This is up by home. You're riding up home on the third ascent. So let's take another look up here. We've got Mr. Richardson. We've got Mark Grant in here. Robert Gardner in here. Mr. Osmond's made it. We've seen Neil. Oh, now the addict is back. This, am I allowed to call it young lady? She's young. She's a lady. She's definitely not anything else. This is a young lady who has improved exponentially over the last few years and coming back to her best. Tiff Fletcher, rider in the top 4 breakaway in exalted company. We had Cassie Brady, we had Sammy Stewart, we had Charlotte Coldclough, and Tiff Fletcher right where she should be, right up in the mix at the front of the racing. A rider who spends far too much time riding the Donny Chaingang, but absolutely brilliant to see that she's back to almost her best. I'm sure there is a lot more potential there. A rider with some good genetics as well, because Tracy, of course, Titch, as she's known, is also a multi-time world champion and an incredibly fast rider as well as really a nice person. So some of the nicest people on the Donny Chaingang, as always, great to see. Good to see we've got Tiff on here. Good to see we've got Mark Salcard in here. There you go, Tiff Fletcher saying the Donny Chaingang works. It does. It makes you faster. It keeps you motivated. It keeps me in a steamingly hot studio because we are still actually drying it out. It is a bit sauna-like down here. Humidity levels currently at about 80% down here. So it is a little warm. We are minimally concerned about the electrics down here, the electronics, but we'll see. If it all goes bang, you'll soon hear it over the microphones. Okay, so coming up towards the top of the climb, we're going to take a little run up the Run of Shame up to the very front of the group. Let's see if we can go right the way up to the front. And a reminder, Mike Killingsworth, he knows exactly where it is now. This is where the van was parked up, stopping Mr. Mason go home. When we take this right-hand turn, we are going to run past the gantry. Now, when we come past that gantry, there's a little bit of a dip and then a steep rise. If the group goes over the top of the rise after the gantry, split apart with even half a second gap in there, you will find that it blows the ride apart. Please, guys, ease back. Make sure you get up over the top. Tom Lindley saying it's good to hear the leakage problem has been solved. It has. I have no backyard. I have no section of block paving that is no longer that is in place down the side of the studios. In fact, outside is it's a bit like a troop practice area for digging in the trenches at the moment, Tom. But we think it is sorted, so we're going to leave that trench open for a little while and see. Just make sure nothing comes leaking in, which is as accurately disgusting as it sounds. Right, back to the ride. Never mind the problems with us in the studio. We've managed to keep the broadcast. We haven't missed one on the way through, which I'm quite proud of, despite all of the issues. We had 3 shows at the weekend. It is a bit mud training-esque, definitely. Now, gang coming up to the top. Quick reminder, guys, make sure that you keep it all together as you come up over the top. DCG sponsored by almost. It is it could even Metro Rod actually. There you go. Who just fell off the back? It's Kieran Brown actually has just taken a little bit of an ease off. He's going to go for it at the moment. He'll get himself back on again. So here we go. I'm watching the screens. Who's going to get our KOM? 1, 2 riders through with a gap, then 2 more with a gap. So we're talking 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds on the way through. So looks like a 6-second gap. Then a 20-second gap to the main group. Still fractured with a group off the front. It is the KOM of shame, basically. If you came through there, at the front, off the front, you're going to know about it. So, guys, if you're on the front, you need to be easing off. Paul Malin, been on a few jobs where the customers blocked it. Yes, definitely. Have to say, ours weren't blocked. Ours have basically fallen apart with age. We are in a, this is called the old beer cellar studios, because it's an old beer cellar in the 1700s pub. It's not been a pub, in fact, for about best part of 200 years. But I think the plumbing system, the sewerage system, is about 200 years old. If it's not, it's probably 1930s. Or if not, 1800s. And it's definitely needed a little bit of TLC. So all of the sections leaked. So we did have we had more water disappearing out of the pipe than was going down into the main sewers. And that is why, oddly enough, we've had to get the guys in. Nothing to do with us chucking anything down it. We are far too environmentally friendly in the studio. In fact, all of the power that is bringing you the Donny Chaingang at the moment, other than everybody's legs out there, everything in the studio actually comes from renewables. We do a carbon offset for the miles we do as well. And, of course, we are actively promoting remote commentary around the world and working to establish that on every event to prevent people having to fly out. Occasionally it is not a matter of choice, but as much as possible we are trying to cut down on the carbon footprint, and we're certainly definitely not throwing things down sewers, unlike some. Right. So Neil from the Crosscast has got an anvil locked and unloaded and loaded. Going to be very interesting if he holds on to that on his way through. Just taking a little bit of a look. The speed's going to pick up. We'll drop in with Kieran Brown on the descent here. He's going to try and get himself into the group. Man who we know can put out the watts per kilo, but you can see in front of him that the group is indeed spreading out at the moment. So it sounds like we're seeing a few anvils going up at the front of the group. If we go up above our riders, let's get the drone up there. Look at the going in there. We've got a few of our vans on the draft. We've seen a few anvils. Now, You can see the gaps opening like crazy, and that is because of the riders coming through. And this is one of the reasons we want everybody to come in and close together as we go over the top, because it does mean that when you use an anvil on the front and it drops you down the hillside, you drag everybody with you rather than flying off the front of the group. So the gang on the way through. Jimmy's saying, who are the climbing bandits tonight? Let's tell you some of the people to watch out for. Tom Lindley, let's put him up number 1. Lindley, definitely. Watch out for Booth, climbing well at the moment and got the power to stay away. Cameron Fraser, gotta be right up in the mix. A certain Jimmy Allen, always capable of being in there, but do not discount just how hard it is to type as well as to cover all of the groups to keep the communication going and keep riding. Now, off the back, we have 2 duos and the red beacon detached on the descent. That means that the guys on the front are going to need to ease it back a little bit here to prevent the riders not being able to get on. So we're back with our red beacon at the moment. And then it looks like Valentine and Bale working hard at nearly 4 watts per kilo. Then it's going to be Herring and it's going to be Steve G coming through. Good to see Craig in here. So Stevie G. Then we're going to have now to place game here, but what she's doing is she's been riding down steady. We've got Zach Hutchinson, we've got Ruben McLardy in to come in, and the distance between them. This is our red beacon, who is still in the tunnel. So if you are about to go up on to the escalators, guys, please make sure you let the gang come back. Jimmy will put the brakes on if he has to bring you back on. So if you're on those escalators, let the guys come up. Remember, as you go over the top of the escalators, you will start to distance this group. They're going to come out of the tunnels here. Ian Bale along with Valentine here at the back here. So Phil Valentine and Ian Bale, they're not our last riders. We've got Dan Bannister and Kieran Brown. Bannister well and truly distanced off the back for some reason on that. Only doing 0.6 watts per kilo at the moment. Kieran Brown at 11 seconds. To be honest, Kieran, you know better than that. So here we go. The red is just coming off the escalator at the moment. So come on, Phil. Dig in, mate. Get on that red beacon, buddy. So if Phil winds it up, he can get himself onto the back of this group. He's not all that far behind here, but he's got a squeeze here. Come on, Phil. Keep picking it up, buddy. So remember, it's all about making sure that you ride at the front. If you chase the yellow beacon and go off the front, what you will find, you think you're doing no damage, but what you're doing is you are stringing the group out. That means that everybody behind chases a little bit harder and a little bit harder, and your efforts on the front pull the group apart. If you are not capable of sitting with a yellow beacon, it's real easy. Go find another ride. We don't need you. If you want to rip it up from the start, come and race me on Zwift somewhere. Not a problem. Come on the Chaingang. It's really easy. Make sure that you are prepared to ride and follow the rules. Dead easy. The front of the gang at the moment still continuing to push clear. Need to keep watching, guys. Watch where the yellow beacon is. Watch where your screens are. It's how you'll learn to be able to ride on Zwift. Beat Matt, then do you get to race Kai? Yeah, you could do, quite happily. I warn you, Crit City and me, we are made to be together, I tell you. Designed around my lack of fitness and my ability to do about 8 really good efforts. In the blob we trust. Craig Herring says it, and he's got it right. So a reminder, please, guys, make sure get this group together. So heads up warning, if you have been deciding you were going to get your fastest time around the loop by pushing on at the front, you just strung it out. We were watching, we know who you were. Please be aware, at some point, you may suffer the indignity a certain theme tune. It can happen. We can do it. It is on hold. It is ready. So the group nicely took its way in with the Biggin just squeezing the way up to the back of the group. Good to see our gang working back together again, which we want to see. Sitting just under 100. So the Rudders nicely in there. There you go. You have been warned. It's there. It's ready. You saw it on your screens if you were watching. So, back to more entertaining things. To see the gang back, to see Stefano on, 97 rows on the way through, so good to see. I'm glad to see that a few people were watching. Yeah, copyright at the ready. Every single Facebook video we put out, we actually get questioned on our copyright, and very rarely do we use anything that's copyright. We have two main artists that we use. One is called Mocha. We actually followed him because he's named after a coffee, but it's M-O-K-K-A, Mocha, and you'll find the theme tune that we use for the show on there. You'll also find the theme tune, some of the tunes in there by Dan Lebowski, both artists who are copyright free and basically create themes for YouTube creators and similar. Some of them in very regular use in sports show. So we are likely to get hit when we do put out the theme tune, it has to be said. Disney will be on our case. We should be lucky. Right. So Jim Flynn and Mark Tickhill now just sitting just behind the red beacon at the moment, so they are the back of our group. So just going to keep a check on our two riders here, working well nicely at the moment. I'm loving all the comments about Nonna's pasta. Don't forget, Mr. Mason, if you aren't in the area, Nonna's can send you stuff. They can send you stuff. It is great. They will send you stuff. You can ring them up. You can go online. There's some amazing goodies you can get a hold of. They are fantastic at looking after you. Make sure you get in touch with the gang. Now, Tickers and Flynn coming together with Mr. Bale. So it looks like our red beacon descend. The bus is forming. Ching ching. Here we go. Bus is on its way. So here we go. So the gang on the way through. I would deduct what energy you are creating from your subs, mate. But at the moment, when I say it's warm in here, it's that kind of warm. 81% humidity down here because we are drying out the cellar. It is roasting down in our cellar, and in fact, it's a good job I didn't just throw that all over the cameras. So if you think you're warm out there, I'm just empathising with you. I'm getting it as one with the spirit of the Chaingang without actually having to pedal the bike, because you might be toasting your pain case. I'm doing exactly the same thing down in here as well. So tickets please. The bus has formed. Mr. Lindley, what do you think would happen if we turned the fans on? Open your windows. We're underground, Dale. If you've not seen the roof, we are literally underground. My head is top of my head is at ground level, basically. We are in the old beer cellar studios. It's called that for a reason. It's an old beer cellar. We are under the ground. We are down in there, and we don't go anywhere. So if I open the window, it don't go anywhere. They're all on. Oh, Jimmy Allen, if only that were true. If only that were true. Not enough room for all my fans down there. I tell you what, it'd be great fun trying, but fortunately, it would just be me on my own, mate. So, riders on the way through. We do actually have a real big set of aircon and dehumidifiers down here, but we don't put that on. Only fans from the cellar, Mr. On the way through. Get a fun hat from Amazon. Yeah, think about the noise. If you've never spent hours checking out decibel levels of fans, you've never lived. Needs to do the cubic meterage that they shift per minute or hour, and of course on the way through. Brad, when is the best time to use the steamroller? Never had it. Best time to use the steamroller is any time when you are not on tarmac, preferably uphill. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a what's it to get it here, because guess what? You're going to need it. Anywhere it's the UK, good answer from Mr. Mason. He's on form today. You can tell he was getting a little bit riled by getting up when I get home. Okay.
No heroes again, please. On the climb.
Matt Nunn wouldn't notice of my own fan, Matt. Matt, no, that's quite possibly true. However, some people do actually tune in and watch this. You're all stars, whether you like it or not, because people do tune in and watch this. There's quite a number of people who do not ride Chaingang watch to see how you lot are getting on. If you are one of those people, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Go on to either tick the button on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel, on the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, of course, to make sure you're part of the private group that is the Facebook page as well. All of the videos coming out live. Don't forget, of course, we involved in a lot more than that, so you'll have seen the notifications coming across from things like the XCE, the UCI XCE Eliminator World Cup and World Championships. Going to be heading across to Abu Dhabi for the urban mountain bike and BMX. So that is essentially Flatlands BMX, the park, as well as trials. Going to be heading over there towards the end of November. Really looking forward to seeing how that that plays out. That's going to be an entertaining trip to go commentate on that. Also, of course, covering the Gravel World Championships. That's going to be coming out on the UCI YouTube channel. And we cover some more e-sports, some more cycling e-sports that we're not allowed to mention on the show. And we wouldn't do so. But you can find it if you want to get more coverage. If you want to watch more riding, then follow the social media feeds. That is of myself, that's Matt Fixer-Payne of at Full Speeds Events, or of course at Biking Emma as well, because Emma, although having time off the bike due to long COVID, is still making sure that she stays involved. So good to see that we had Stefan on and wisely making sure that he's done what he should do, and then jumping up. So Stefan, we'll catch up with you shortly. Put your teeth in that. Soon, shortly, in a little while. So, ciao, Stefano. Just warm down nicely. Tickers group, the Red Beacon bus rolling, and may well be seeing a few riders on the way through. Looks like Neil Beavers and looks like see Steve and on his way up the hillside. The pack not all that far in front of him. I think we've got Henderson just in there as well. So just taking a little bit of a look. So ideally, Jimmy would be towards the front. That only works when people help everyone. Right. Gang is on its way. Everyone heading up the hillside. Put the helicopter up. I suspect that Stefano will own Stefano is not going to be on the bus, but you never know. So just watching Brad weave his way in and through. Here we're just going to drop in with Mark Grant. Mark just tucked in on the back of the pack. Lindley just hovering around the back of the gang here. Now Jamie Harper, interesting to see we've got Mr. Hudson. Again, just sitting in there nicely, tucked in at the moment. So Harry Hudson, people were asking, who should we watch out for? This young man. Very fast, very quick, very good uphill. Finley Hudson, other Hudson, in here as well. Couple of years younger. More questionable dress sense, although very easy to spot in the pack, which is very handy. Not going to get away with the stealth option in the Cape Epic kit. As Jimmy Allen says, if it ain't fast enough, jump off the back. Good to see that we had Gail back on. Gail just jumping out at the moment. So thanks for joining us, Gail. We will catch up with you soon. Never know, might have a wander over towards the farm. Neil from Crosscast from Gritty. It's just off the back. It must be those hours and hours spent in the factory. I wouldn't exactly say it was nose to the grindstone where he was. That's for sure. But a busy man. That is certainly the case. The group ticking along up here. Paul Malin tucked in. We've got Mr. Gale in here. We've got Moore in here. We've got Osman. And Ellis Goddard. Ooh, got Mr. Goddard back. That's interesting. Somebody who's always up near that sharp end, regularly in there. We've got Ruben McClarty. Now, because this is a hill finish, if it's dependent on where Jimmy lets this go, because Ruben's going to struggle on the descent, mostly because he weighs about as much as the Locust left leg. However, if we get to go into an ascent with him and any of our youngsters on board, that could be very, very interesting indeed. Caffeine doesn't raise your heart rate. It's a myth, mate. That is when you drink as much as I do. Right. Neil Tukey in here. John Wild, the man from Velaview in here. You'll remember the graphics that we use week in, week out. It's not just the ones that we put up on the screen, but the pro subscription is something that we use regularly. And I will be diving in, so it's going to go through. So just jumping in with Jimmy, nicely tucked in the pack. A few twitchy folk on here, but I think Jimmy, you're going to be intent on making sure everybody gets down in towards London and over the Tower Bridge together, and down and in. I suspect it's going to be lining it up for our climbers. We'll see if he can pull that group in and through that line, but it's going to depend on how everybody behaves. Remember, of course, everybody goes playing silly what's it's on the climb, less likely that we are to find it to go. But remember, of course, I have no Scooby-Doo of exactly where it is. I don't know who the villains is the piece is. I don't know if it was a caretaker. There's a janitor all along. I won't know exactly where it is. I don't know who is likely to be in the mix, whether it's going to be an uphill, downhill finish or similar. Just trying to check with this B Jones. It's not Brian Jones, of course. It is Bevan Jones. Bevan in here, so going to be interesting to see how Bevan gets on tonight. The one thing I think that's missing off the Zwift soundtrack, actually, because I get actually louder than you guys getting it out on the feed, is that you can't hear our riders. So you can't hear everybody breathing. So here we go, on the way through. I've noticed that Jimmy Allen's getting some great service from Wahoo. Did you tell them that you'd written a book, Jimmy? Is that what it was? Did you know that? Jimmy's written 2 books, actually. No wonder he gets premium service. Legendary author Jimmy Allen. Maybe about going uphill as well. To see Jimmy out at the hill climb up at Monsell, and saw Red. No, Dean was over there as well. So Jimmy's saying he's on that. Has he ridden with Jan? Do you know what? There's this this bloke who was famous once, who once was good at going uphill. Going to be. He rode with Jimmy Allen once. I'm sure it was called Jan. Yeah, Mr. Allgreat. That'll be the one. Okay, you'll be coming up. Got Jan on speed dial. Careful, you'll be telling me you've got Mr. Armstrong, Cavendish, and Wiggins all lined up as well on the way through, as well as Hincapi. Yeah, but if that would be some lead-out train, wouldn't it? Gonna tell us about it one day. The Miyuk 312. I haven't actually put that picture up for a little while, but we might use that next time we get the Wolf in the mix. So everybody rolling in and around Jimmy at the moment. Everybody coming up towards that. So just about a Red Beacon nicely on the climb. I think the Red Beacon's going to hit the hairpin turn as we see the riders come into that right-hand turn here. So the back of this group looks like Mark Salkel. Come on, Mark, time to squeeze on here, buddy. You don't want distancing off the back of that group. There you go, look at that. If only I had that effect when I said to people, buy me a beer. So he's just squeezing his way in. What you don't want to be is you don't want to be distances that go over the top, basically. Once the group go through and it levels off, what you find is any gaps then get amplified on the way through and you can be caught napping. Not good news. So that group at the moment, just on here, Mr. Dobson, Jimmy on guitar. I don't know, Jimmy, can you play guitar even? So Mr. Woodward just took on the back of the group here. So you can see Jimmy Allen in the leading pack. They're all together as we come up towards the line. A big gap back, in fact, from Woodward. It's going to be 146 back from Woodward. So basically, the leader group, Woodward, come on, mate, you've got to squeeze on here, pal. This is where it's going to drop downhill slightly as you come out, and then you've got another climb coming in. Matt Woodward currently at 1.8. I think we're going to find Kirkham now sitting at the back of the group. And the go has gone. The go has gone. And the ignition's gone. The burners have been lit. Here we go. This is what it's all about. You've got to be in it to win it. Who's going to be? Look at the fire starts our level 50 riders giving it everything. There's some fastest times going up the hill as well. We're going to roll away, try and get up near the front. We just did with John Garfield, one of our red beacons previously. Well, there's people using anvils on this little section here. It's going uphill, guys. It ain't going to work. You need that for that downhill. Now, just trying to roll our way up towards the front. I'm just doing Jimmy at the moment. The Wolf is tucked in here. That's a mean place. The Wolf is playing to keep for keeps today. He's sensed that he may well be able to put the pack in trouble here, because we're going to come up on to this section of climb. And look at this, it's a 10%, and this is on the climb, and this is going to split it as they come up over the top. They all worked really well together. Look at those feathers going in. And the other thing this is doing, this is burning up power-ups. It's burning up power-ups as they go over the top here, and the gaps are going to be critical. Now, we always say you let a gap go, let a wheel go at this stage, you are in trouble. And at the moment, you can see the gaps are opening up. But what you've got to do is find riders to be with on the way through here. So, just watching this group come through, that's a big old pack in there, and it is moving very, very quickly indeed. Rob Varty, Phil Oliver, Russell Osmond, and the fat cyclists Mason Dobson, Finley Hudson in there. We've got Dale Williams, Bevan Jones, Eddie Dench, Andrew McCarthy's in there, Neil from the Crosscast in there. Jeff Saysel's in, Morgan Lloyd in that group as well. Just trying to keep up. Dobson's in the pack. And then it's going to be Craig. Hang on, I'm just going to try to take a little bit. This is the group with Lloyd in it. Lloyd, Brown, Saysel and Bannister. They've got to work here. They've got a bigger group in front. There are going to be 18 riders, I think, in the leading group. There are, 19 riders in the leading group, 18, 19 riders in that leading group. Then there is a chasing 4 trying to get back in. They've just gone past our screens, but behind them, you can see this next group trying to come in and through. This is a group with Stevie G down looks like going to be in there. Mr. Bannister, looks like we've got Wilson just trying to fight his way in. Stevie G. Looks like Hudson was caught napping there. So Hudson has not gone with that group. Could be he's on a tough training week, but he's got his work cut out. So the Yellow Beacon group is the front of the ride at the moment. At the moment we're in with Hudson on the descent. And this really is starting to blow the group apart. John Wild is in here. So the man from Bellevue who must know this course inside out. So of course, Bellevue, the best way to see what you've got coming and where you're at to get your yearly stats. If you think Strava's got data, it's nothing on how you get it presented from the guys at Bellevue. That subscription absolutely amazing. Now, as we come in and through, Lindsay Clark just into the top of Box Hill, 10 minutes. Tracy Fletcher in. But we'll see whether that time is going to hold. Our leading group now 5 seconds. 5 seconds clear at the moment from the chasing group behind. So our leaders are heading in and through. And that leading group, I think, is going to be 15 riders, 16 riders strong at the moment. Then it's going to be Hudson, who's pushing at nearly 8 watts per kilo. So here we go. Then it's going to be Sadler, Lloyd and Co. Now they are chasing this group. The question is, can they get them in the sights? Up on to the escalators we go. This is a 15% descent led up by Simon Booth. Booth takes them over the top with Mason on his heels. We're looking to see the dribs and drabs behind come up and through. But at the moment, they are not coming through as a solid bunch. And you can see the damage. That's a good point, a good indicator of where people are suffering. So Varty up there. Good to see Chris Goddard is in this mix, I think. I'm just looking to check the kit. So here we go. Who's got the legs to stay with front? Bevan Jones up on the front. Rob Varty in there as well. There's going to be Russell Osmond. Tell you something, Russell Osmond, mate, you are absolutely on fire. Russell, one of our real quick riders, and Russell with those lightweight wheels on clearly means business as we come up on to the climb. And this is your leading group in here. Simon Oxenden in here. So it's Jones, Brown, Wild, Osman. It's going to be James, Oliver, Lindley, Booth, Mason, Varty, Herring, Dench, Williams. Oxenham's in there. I think Finley Hudson has made the group. So looks like he's going to have bragging rights. It looks like Harry Hudson not going to make the catch. Chris Gale not going to make it. Now, what you got to do, guys, you need the help of this lot. Because what you need is to get that pack together. You've got some strong riders in there. You've got Neil Tsuki You've got West, you've got Wilson, Lloyd, Stevie G in here. These guys can really, really push. Behind them then, it's going to be a bit of a gap back. You can see it's a decent sized pack. It's about 3 seconds in behind, but this is all about closing down. If we take a look at this group, so you can see our riders well spread out. The chase group though, look at the size of the chasing groups behind. If they get this together, they're going to need to communicate. You know, that talking thing is not just texting. They've got to get it together. There's a group just in front here with Steve Wilson. Behind though, there are masses of riders teed up, ready to chase down. But what they've got to do, they've got to get these guys back, and they are absolutely flying at the moment. You can see the gap in between. So our yellow beacon group up the road here at the moment. Let's get that drone up in the air above Oxenham, above Bevan Jones, who goes up on to the front in the pink and blue. So you can see that gap has opened up. The question is, will our ride winner come from this group? Remember, it's not open the throttle time until we hit that go, go, go point. It went on the top of the climb as we came through the banner at the top of the second climb. Now, this is where it's really interesting to watch. So these guys on a flatter section, it roller coasters its way through, but I think we're going to see these guys staying together. Just take a look at what is happening behind here. So we've got Stevie G, we've got, I think it's going to be Dobson and Lloyd Bannister in this group. Hudson's in there. They're trying to bridge up and across. Then it's going to be Sadler along with Wilson, Jamie in here, Dixon Moore in there, Zach Hutchison. This is a class group. Look, got Mick Hawkins in here, Douglas in this group, McNunny's in here, Paul Mallin. Okay, this is off the bat. It's not like Mallin. Fletcher's coming up pace in this group, so not like to Fletcher to miss the move. But remember, Tiff will be on her umpteenth million ride on the Chaingang tonight, let's face it, on the way through. So Tiff needing to get the gang to work together here. So Crossland just behind McDermott on his own. Then looks like John Hind in here from the Bolsover and District, grabbing the group. Looks like McCarthy in there, Johnny Two Dogs in that group. Looks like Mark Salkald's. Mark, come on, mate, find a group. That's how it works. If you find yourself distance, if you're on your own in fields of nowhere, you're surrounded by wheat fields. You're not in hell, you're in Elysium. No, you're not. You're on the Donny Chaingang, and it's blinking hurting like heck. Right, now riders are working the way up. They've got to keep pushing here. They've got to wait their way up. They've got to try and stay in that group and use the draft. Remember, we've seen riders come back. You can see the yellow beacon. This is really key. This is group 3. So if you are in the group here, group number 3, this is where they need to push, because they could close down that gap to the riders in front. This is about making sure they've got some pace. It's like Sharp in here. So basically, if you are sat in the group with Tiff Fletcher with the orange jersey, here we're going to drop a ride up and down. There we go, on top of Tiff. If you are in with Tiff, you've got to push now, guys. You are in group number 3. In front of you, you have got, I think, Russell Osman just being distanced here. Then it's going to be group number 2. This is the group with Sadler, with Stevie G, with Steve Wilson, with Harry Hudson in here. So let's drop a ride on down, so you can see we're just in with Wilson. So if you're in there, that's group number 2. They're chasing. They have time to make up. They've got 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so to get up to this group. This is our leading pack. Dale Williams sat on the back of the pack. Simon Booth in there. Tom Lindley. We've got Mason in there. We've got Dench in there. So Dench is on the front in the Bikes and Beers shirt. You've got Craig Herring in the Downing Cycling Coaching Works jersey. The pink and blues, Bevan Jones in that Lamprey-inspired kit. Kieran Brown in the green, just pushing his way up onto the front. You've got Finley Hudson in the Cape Epic Tiger stripes in there. The red band across his midriff with a flat cap on, that's Rob Varty. You've also got Simon Booth, he's the man on the front, just pushing his way up here, starting to accelerate on his way up wanted to get some lead in. So we're in with Lindley. He's in the orange and grey. Booth pushes on. Jimmy Allen in here, looking good at the moment. Simon Oxen, dark horse Simon Oxen, quite literally Simon in the all black kit here, and going for the stealth option. Well, it would be apart from the fact that he's on a Tron bike. And as we go up over the top there, we're just seeing everybody moving the way up and through. So that's Big Brother for you. Just got a notification that Muck has just brought out a new tune. Never let it be said that Big Brother is not watching. It's not just me on the Chaingang and the gang on the way through. We do actually have a number of people watching a lot more feeds than just I can watch singularly as well, just to make things interesting. Now, really interesting to watch. A little tactic there that's been played out on screens just whilst I was somewhere else, just my own little world of getting notifications. So AD Dents just rolled off the back, then used the slingshot power to go in and through. Ask Emma what it's all about. She's an expert at that on the way through, to make sure that you use the draft effectively as we come down past the Big Ben Bell Tower, past the circus on the rider's left, as they make the way down and towards the next bridge, that left-hand turn. But at the moment, we have a little bit of a lead for the one and only Dale Williams. 53.11 rider on the front, just opening a little bit of a gap here, making everybody else work here. Is he going to try and get some sliding room maybe on some of these youngsters? Remember, we've got Kieran Brown in here. Now, Kieran is not our youngest rider, but he's absolutely super fast. A brutal go, says Matt Nunn. Yep, dead right. Brutal go, absolutely brilliant, because it's meant people have had to work. Matt, if you just recovered, you aren't trying hard enough to chase on. You've got some serious powers of recovery. It's going to run down to see where Matt is. He's in this chasing group. They're 25 seconds down on group number 1. So 25 seconds down on group 1, but 22 seconds back is going to be group number 4, and I think we've got one rider sandwiched in between. Tricky to tell on our screens. Try and zoom out a little bit and just get a check. So we have group 1 going down the escalators now. Last proper descent before we go up on to the climb. Dale Williams back in again. Let's see where it's going to go. We did say Jimmy Allen, always known for making it wild, making it tough. Our chasing group coming into towards the tube station. This group is a big pack. They've got to work though, because it's to get into that climb. They could mop up if any of those riders in front have gone too hard. Now is the time where they can think about pulling those riders back. Interesting use of the steamroller there, just coming down those boards. May well actually help them to actually check that out as you go in onto the tube. As you come in and through, may well be because the tube line is boarded over. It gives you that little bit of assistance. Meanwhile, front of the group, front of the ride, all together coming on their way around the turn. Here we go, coming out of the tunnels and coming up to the roundabout. You just see the helicopter shot over the top. At the back of the group is Finley. It looks like Dale Williams saying, "Oh, thanks very much, everybody. Yeah, good luck to everybody else." Don't believe Dale Williams. He's the biggest con merchant ever. I've got no strength left. I've no energy. I'm feeling so weak. Boom! Unleashes the power, takes a sprint win. What's that all about? And people still fought for it. He comes out with it every time. He's worth some rust for that. Right, here we go. Group number 1. Starting to stretch out, being led out by Tom Lindley. The one and only Tom Lindley. It's his new title. I'm going to try and go the entire season without referring to his age once. I'm going to fail miserably. There you go. Right. Final swig of coffee on the way in. On to the climb we go. Looks like Jimmy Allen, the yellow beacon, I think the Wolf's legs have just been mauled off by the constant high pace. In front of him is Adi Dench. Then it's going to be Mason sitting in with his pack. Dale Williams in here, biding his time, cool, calm and collected. Not to perspire in the slightest. Then it's going to be Booth. Yeah, Jimmy said his legs have definitely come off. Now, Finley Hudson, 13-year-old. He's got a great power-to-weight ratio on here. Can he use power? Simon Booth is a strong rider, and I reckon Simon is on a bit of a mission here. Because Simon Booth, he's got to be the rider who has got to take a win one of these days. Surely he's going to be in there. Craig Harry saying, shall we wait for the bus, Jim? I know that you might be waiting a little while on the way through, but, you know. Now, up to the front. Bevan Jones on the front. John Wild right on his heels. I won't tell you John's age, but John, you good with the Grecian 2000 there, mate, on the Just for Men. I think there, because looking very, very dark for a man of your mature years, let's say. John's similar age to me, to be honest, but you know, he's kind of like probably got 2 decades on everybody else on here. So Bevan Jones leading it out in that Lamprey Inspire kit. Then we've got John Wild. Then we've got Brown. Then we've got Lindley. Then a 15-second gap to Booth. So 4 leaders. Then it is Booth, Oliver, Finley Hudson. Then it's going to be Mason, Varty, Williams. Harry Hudson is cutting through them like a knife through butter at the moment. So here we go. Hudson nicely slicing his way through. He has got his work cut out. Watch the pace he's going up. Dale Williams, Express train has just passed you. It's leaving the station. Departing on platform 1, it is Harry Hudson up past Mason, up past Phil Oliver, past Booth, past Hudson. He goes now. He's going to pick. Oh, so Harry goes past Finley here. Has Finley got the pace to go back on? Booth has seen this. Look at that. Smart riding there by Simon Booth, because he's seen the pace that's coming out. He tried to go with Harry Hudson, but Hudson on a mission. 16 seconds, though, up the road is this man, Tom Lindley. A further 5 seconds up the road. We have a triumvirate of talent. Get those portraits out, Mr. Payne. So here we go. Bevan Jones in that Lamprey kit on the pink Tron bike. John Wild on the orange and light blue. Kieran Brown in his traditional green here. And on the climb, just going to take a little bit of a look at these bikes. I think Kieran Brown potentially, if they are riding the bikes that we see, has the best option uphill. This is one of the lightest frames that you can ride on Zwift. Add in those lightweight wheels, it gives an advantage on the climb. John Wild is on more aero wheels. It's more of an all-round bike. It's quite lightweight frame, but those wheels, relatively aero and quite lightweight, but not as light as Kieran's wheels. Bevan Jones going for the safe option, going for a Tron bike. Tron bikes, best all-round bike. Going to give away time, though, on this climb. I mean, he's going to have to work harder than Kieran Brown for the same watts per kilo on the way up the climb, just because of the pace that he's able to go down through those wheels and how light they are. The riders well on the way up here. These 3 riders. Kieran Brown in the green. John Wild in the orange and blue. And Bevan Jones in the pink and royal blue. The 3 riders who are going to take the top 3 places by a major alien abduction or something of similar magnitude. Tom Lindley currently in 4th place, but he's got Hudson coming up behind him. So it is Hudson who's on the wheels here. And he's going to drop down alongside him. Lindley in the orange in front, Hudson behind. So Hudson in 5th place. Immediately behind him, you can see it's going to be Varty in 6th, Oliver in 7th, Finley Hudson in 8th. Then it's going to be Booth inside the top 10. Hutchinson's rounding out the top 10 at the moment, but you can see those groups have come together on the climb now, but at the very front of the ride. It's now going to become cat and mouse. They've got 25 seconds on the chasing group behind. And if we look at the times on this hill, we're talking just inside 10 minutes for our riders up the climb in the men's and women's ride. The question will be, what time is that going to be? Remember that we had the go-go at the top of the climb last time round. At the moment, these three riders, lots of finessing coming in. We're into those. Oh, we've just got sneaky move coming. Sneaky move. We are going to go up with our helicopter. We're going to go up with our drone. We're going to try and get up with our leaders. And there is a reason, because who's popped out in front? He put in the ghost. And that is going to be Bevan Jones. Apologies, we are jumping all over the place here. And that is quite simply because Bevan Jones went for it. He put the ghost in. We've put these new power-ups in for a reason. Bevan Jones ghosted. He's powered up. But look at this. John Wild is coming. Wild is coming at him. Wild is going to take this, I think. It's going to be John Wild who comes into the gantry. Wild goes through in first place. John Wild gets it for fellow viewer. Then it's going to be Shaw Pines' rider. That's Kieran Brown. Then it's going to be Bevan Jones in third place after using that ghost power-up. Not necessarily the one he wanted, but he used it to great effect. Now, Lindley currently in fourth position, and you saw him disappear off our screens. Is it going to be a sprint here between the two of them? Hudson and Lindley are going to wind this up. This is going to be a great little sprint between these two riders here. Hudson's on the front at the moment. Can he take it out all the way to the line? It's going to get close. It's going to be close. Oh, he takes it. It's Hudson, then Lindley in that final sprint in and through. Then it's going to be Varty coming through in behind in sixth. It's going to be Hutchison in seventh with Hudson in eighth, Phil Oliver in nine. I think Simon Booth comes through in 10th place. Then it's going to be A.D. Dench. Dench is going to come through in 11th position. Wow. Incredibly quick time. And we said the time might come down a little bit from just inside 10 minutes to a 6-minute 19 time on the climb for our leader over the top, John Wild. What a ride. John from Vellaviewer clearly having the information he needed. Now, Mason can just turn off the road and go home. So nicely done. And John Wild going for that for the climbers on his way through. John, a regular out in the Peak District, and they're real nice guys. Now, look at that. Dale Williams got popped in the sprint. Williams gets rolled on his way in here. That's not what you see every day. Morgan Lloyd rolls Dale Williams on his way over the top of the line. Dale, mate, what's going on? Then it's going to be Simon Runnett, followed by Jamie Harback coming through. Then it's going to be West, our next rider up to the top. So James West pushing all the way to the line. He's got Woodall behind him. He's coming quickly. And I think we're going to see the Wolf coming as well. Look at this. It's so tight. And I think the Wolf there just getting robbed by Richie Woodall on the way through. Matt Nunn's going to be in a sprint here between him and Simon Oxenden. Oxenden taking it from Nunn. And then it's going to be Mick Hawkins, Dick Samul. Well done, Richard. There's going to be Bannister coming through immediately behind. Then Neil Tukey. So another fast ride here. So Tukey goes in through the line. Dobson's going to come in behind him. And then Chris Gale's going to be our next rider behind Chris, though. I think we're going to see Douglas on the climb. So Mike Douglas coming up to the line. Good ride, Mike. Well done. Fantastic top three and great riding by all of our riders. Next rider is going to be Ian Sharp. Sharp goes in. Oh, ghosted in there. Nicely done. As Sharp went in through the line, he was ghosted through the line by Gary Sharp there. There's some sneaky use of those power-ups. Absolutely loving it. So it is going to be the first of our female riders making her way into the line. The sprint is on. And it is going to be Tiff Fletcher who takes that little mini sprint there between the riders. New time sets the fastest lap time and the fastest QOM up there. Come on, Tiff, you know the score. Roll those legs out from 10 minutes down to 8.5. As she goes in and through. Fletcher absolutely flying away through. Now, Johnny Two Dogs on his way in. He's got through the line, as has Forrester. And then it's going to be Moore and West. We are going to try and roll our way back in. So next in is Billy No Mates, as Jimmy says, thank you everybody for the support and the cooperation. Well done to Rab. Rab making his way in and through the line. Well done, buddy. We'll hope to see you back once again. And we can just see Dave Fulton coming in towards line. Fulton, another of our regular riders, just ahead of Ellis and Hilbert. Then it's going to be Richard Langmead as well as Mick Clark, followed by Brad and then Andrew McCarthy. So Andrew comes in and through. Well done, Andrew. Then it's going to be Crossland coming through immediately behind him here. So that's John Crossland. He's going to be in through just ahead of John Garford. Garford is on his way in. So Garford comes in ahead of Craig Herring and Nick McDermott. Craig Herring has a sprint, but so has Nick McDermott. The question is, who's it going to be? Is Herring going to take it out? Now McDermott starts to wind it up. Herring responds to it. Now McDermott's got to move. Herring has got a sprint on him. He's at 14.5 watts per kilo in the front in that Downing Cycling jersey in the grey. He goes to ahead of McDermott. Immediately behind McDermott, another good ride there by Carl Johnston again. So Herring, McDermott and Johnston all come through fighting. Good to see that we've got Chris Goddard back with us. Welcome back, Chris. Good to see you on the gang, buddy. Here he comes, sprint in to the line here. So Goddard comes in and through. Then it's going to be Amor coming through behind. So John Amor on his way through, followed up by Rocky Raccoon. And that is going to be Andy Watson, followed by Andy Singleton. Then we're going to see John Doe, a.k.a. Owen Davis. Loving the banter as everybody comes in and through. Make sure you post on that Facebook page. Make sure that you get those pictures of what state you're in as you go in and through the line. We want to see pictures of those pain cases. We want you to tell us if you get an FTP. Tell us if you managed to rip your tyre apart on the front for some weird and wonderful reason. You snap your bars in 3. Great to see now. Here we go. Dr. D on his way through the line, Gordon to a run. He's ahead of Neil from the crosscast. Don't forget the next crosscast, our latest crosscast out. Make sure you download that wherever you get your podcast from. Yours truly not on there, but it's a great show. I actually got to listen to it just like everybody else. It was brilliant. I didn't even get a heads up before it actually went out. I got to listen to it like everybody else. It was brilliant. I wouldn't have listened to it before. I really wanted to just hear it just like everyone else gets it. It was great to listen to, so make sure you give it a download, subscribe to it, make sure you click on there. Don't forget, of course, to support the Crosscast. You can buy us a coffee on there. Just, again, helps Neil and I with the cost of keeping the Crosscast out and getting that out as well. Next up, Ruben McClarty. Ruben coming in to awards gantry. Well done to Ruben. Good ride by him and the McClarty family on all of our chain gangs this week. Next up will be Keith Richards. On his way through. Keith going to be chased to the line by Carl Briggs. Briggs 11 seconds down here at the moment. On that minimalistic frame felt as he comes up to the line at the moment. It's going to be Briggs who comes in and through. Then it will be Chris Canham and Bobby Mason behind. Otherwise, coming thick and fast at the moment. Not getting a chance to take a break at the moment. It's really interesting when that trigger gets pulled, when the plunger goes. So Canham on next rider. That's Chris Canham coming in to the finish. He's being chased to the line by Bobby Mason. Oh, Bobby riding on the training sharp kip there. On his way through, the man from the south coast coming up and looking at this nice pedal cadence, 105 revs per minute, pushing his way to that line. He's going to be ahead of Fraser, who is behind him, but Mason comes through. Then it's going to be Fraser in that distinctive orange and white kit, one of our regular riders at the moment, ahead of Gary Patterson. Gary, mate, yours probably one of the best rides of the day here. Gary Patterson, a rider who has improved time and time again. And Gary Patterson coming in and through. Great time by Patterson. He's going to come in towards the line here. 9:58 was his time last time around. We'll see what he's going to get through this time. It's good to see Gary really able to push on. And another rider who's improving week on week. So Gary goes in through the line there. So Gary goes through, 9:58 at that time as well, I think, as he comes in through the line. So well done, Gary. So a little bit further down the hillside is going to be Matt Woodward, Rob Wimble, it's going to be Steve Grant, Beavers, Flynn and Co. So a little bit of a gap at the moment as our riders come up towards the hairpin turns and up in towards the finish. That means it's going to give me a little bit of a chance to do some of the housekeeping. Quick reminder, guys, make sure if you can, subscribe, join the gang, the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. It keeps the show on the road. It means that we can keep on bringing you the Chain Gang, keep on bringing you the shows, and keep on bringing all of the rides with Russ in there, leading with Jimmy's assistance on the DCG, our guest Yellow Beacons as Emma heads up all of that WoW DCG, including the social media for that, along with Russ. And of course, out there, I'm sure Emma will be back the moment she can get back on the bike. At the moment, though, coordinating those beacons and picking the routes and making sure everybody is briefed. And of course, co-commentating as well. Massive thank you to Sammy Stewart for leading, and Joe Jarvis for being our red beacon when Miss Cookie struck down by the dreaded COVID. So remember, guys, join the gang, help us bring the gang to you. Every little bit helps. I know not everybody can put in that month donation and get the support and the benefits of the guys up on the screen. Support the people who support the gang. If it's just telling these guys when you go and order something from them that you heard about them on the Donny Chaingang, every little bit helps. Please, guys, do that. And you can donate ad hoc if you just join in for a single ride as well. And that does help. It really does make a difference. Russ and I never ever thought we would be doing this. What is 2.5 years after we started doing it as something to keep everybody, give everyone some fun, and keep the community together during COVID when the very first lockdowns came in. We never thought we'd be doing it now. It's turned into a bit of a beastie, and it's great. We absolutely love doing it. I was chatting with two of our stalwarts, that's Vince and Tracy, who have done a lot of the hard work at keeping the in real life gang rolling, and the rides and meetup rides going throughout the summer. And we were saying, just absolutely loving seeing people supporting each other and meeting people who they maybe wouldn't ever have ridden with before. It's brilliant to see. Now, next rider on the way in towards the line, it's going to be Woodward. Just coming in and around those turns here. So it's going to be Matt Woodward coming in towards the line. Well done, Matt. Matt's going to roll his way in through that gap on that nice little, it feels like it's a really big downhill. It drops to about -4% in this tiniest little of dips as you come in and through. But it feels like it's about 15% downhill after climbing for so long. It's a really nice roll down here. And Matt Woodward goes in and through the line. It's going to be chased to the line by Rob Wimble. I'm sure Rob will be in action this weekend riding at a national trophy this weekend down in Derby. Don't forget, of course, this weekend we have the World Gravel Championships. It's going to be coming out in the UK and anywhere that's covered by Discovery Plus, what was Eurosport, and of course GCN with Ollie Beckinsale, with myself covering all the rest of the world. Only the rest of the world we're talking to. And don't forget, that is for anybody who's VPN. Basically, their address is not in the UK. Matt Woodward gets an anvil now. Not what he wanted. So Steve and Garon coming up together here. So Clarion Steve in the white and black kit with that 4i, the power meter company on his jersey. Mark Grant in the orange. They are together. We've got Neil Beavers just a little further behind them. We're going to see our beacon group. This is going to be Tickers. It's going to be Bale and Flynn making the way up the climb. But Clarion Steve at the moment with a little bit of a gap. But, it's about ½ a centimetre to the wheel of Mark Grant. They're coming in towards that turn. So don't forget, Gravel World Championships coming up this weekend. You can ride any bike, any handlebar, as long as it's one piece. No restrictions. Going to have a really great course. I've seen the route. I've seen some pictures and some footage from out on the route. It is going to be a cracking weekend, so make sure you get that on your TV screens, on your feeds, whether you are watching the guys at Discovery Plus or you are able to watch from another location, which means you can get the world feed with myself. That's Matt Payne. Don't forget, of course, that Emma and myself will be covering some esports on Sunday morning as well, and Emma will be taking that esports out on Sunday afternoon, and then we'll be back with the Chain Gang next week. It's another 3 Chain Gang week because we have our DCG on Tuesday and on Thursday, and the WoW DCG on the Wednesday. Russ will be back on Tuesday as far as I know. and I hope he's made it back up from London at that point. And Russ will be back in with us. We've got some amazing routes on the way next week. Don't forget, of course, the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, will be getting those details coming direct to them. It's one of my jobs tomorrow, as well as prep for the World Championships. We'll be trying to make sure those emails go out quite early this week. They are actually partially written, I have to admit. Been trying to squeeze it in between checking what's going on with our hopefully now cured flooding. So it's going to be Clarion Steve, it's going to be Mark Grant on the way in towards the line. Let's see who's got the kick as they come up towards Gantry. Grant guaranteed to put a sprint in. We know Mark's going to go for it. Has he got Clarion Steve? He has. So Mark Grant coming through ahead of Clarion Steve. Behind it's going to be Neil Beavers. Beavers with about 32-second gap at the moment to our Red Beacon group who are behind. So as our riders continue to make their way up the climb, don't forget, of course, to jump on that Facebook page. Make sure you go on there, join the Facebook group for the Donny Chaingang. Make sure you subscribe to whichever YouTube channel or feed that you're watching this on. Get notified when we go live, whether it's the Downey Cycling YouTube feed or the Full Speed Events one, or of course whether you're on the Facebook page. More that we get the hits on there, the better we can do of basically twisting the arms of people to help support the DCG gang and the supporters who make it all possible. Don't forget, of course, that all the guys on there are there to look after you, so please make sure you give them some support. Don't forget, of course, if you are joining for a ride, make sure you put those full details on, and make sure, please, if in doubt, add the email address that you get your confirmation on in. So if you join to register, you should get a confirmation email. If that confirmation email doesn't come through, you need to check your spam box and add the email that is on the ticketing system to it, because that's the one that you will get the links on. Really important. Please also remember, guys, if you don't put your full details in, you will not get a ride. It's really easy. And if you do go off the front, didn't have to use it this time round, thank goodness. Just putting it on the screens was enough. Please remember, guys, ride with that yellow beacon until that yellow beacon says it is time for the go, go, go. It's not always as mean as when Jimmy lets it go on there. Just sometimes does he send it at the meanest point that he can. So as we make our way up towards the top, it's going to be Neil Beavers, another of our regular riders. Now, great to see Neil back in once again. And Neil just making his way around these turns. Neil in. Nice revs at 105 revs per minute. It's going to ease off as he comes round this last kicker, actually, in before this little descent round and through past the visitor centre. It's a little bit mean, sort of 5-6%. Then it eases off, and as we said, it feels all of a sudden like not quite walking on air, but you know when you sprint up those, sprint up the stairs at home, and then you suddenly find the stairs stop, and you sort of almost go flying up into the air, and you like to turn to jelly. It's a bit like that when you go up to the top of this climb, particularly at the end of 2.5 laps. So here on the Donny Chaingang with me and Matt Payne, our riders making their way in, and Neil Beaver's going to be our next rider, going to be 76th place out of near 100 starters. The optimum number on the Chaingang is rolling around that 100 rider mark, and that's just quite something, because that's what you can see everybody, you know, where the front and the back is. Great to see our riders putting some great rides on the way through. Lindsay Clark riding on the ride with Tiff Fletcher. Neil Beavers, our next finisher, coming in and through 12.56 there from him. And then we have our Beacon group who are on the way into that turn. Jim Flynn, Mark Tickhill and Ian Bale, the triumvirate of talent, the trio of tempestuous pedalers on the way in. There you go. Total bobbin statement from Mr. Payne there. So here we are, our riders on the way in, led in by that red beacon. It is going to be Mark Tickhill in the grey, white and orange. It's Ian Bale in the green, red and black. And of course, it's Jim Flynn in the blue as these riders come in towards finish to get the cheers of the crowd at the side of the course here today. So in they go, in and through the line. Just that warmer down for them to do with a big push actually coming from Jim as he comes into the line. Oh, nearly rolls in on the way through. So a massive thank you to Jimmy Allen, the Wolf, for taking the helm from Russ, with Russ down at Great Ormond Street charity ride. A great reminder, guys, make sure if you want to have a go, join up, jump in, volunteer to be a Red Beacon. Gail always happy to get riders wanting to have a go at the Red Beacon duties. And you can get in touch with her on the Facebook page. I'm sure there'll be another call out coming out soon. So as Ian winds his way down, we're going to leave him in peace. It only remains for me to say, please, guys, make sure you tune in if you're not watching or you're able to move your location and not be in a blocked area. Then you're going to get me for the World Gravel Championships. That's going to be on Saturday and on Sunday. That's from 1 o'clock UK. Don't forget, of course, that we will be broadcasting on Sunday some more esports cycling as well from the Full Speed Event studio with myself and Emma on the morning shift and Emma on the afternoon shift. And of course, we'll be back next week for the one and only Donny Chaingang. So from myself, from Russ, from Jimmy, from Sammy, from Emma, from all of our Red Beacons as well, please have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy your riding. From me, Matt Payne. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.